If you haven't been personally affected by opioids, chances are you know someone who has.
Between 1999 and 2021, an estimated 654,000 people died from an opioid overdose.
Those deaths are described in 3 waves, starting in 1999 with prescription opioids. In 2010, our country saw the beginning of a second wave, heroin. And in 2013 was the beginning of the third and deadliest wave, synthetic opioids like fentanyl.
A man caught in his own wave of addiction doesn't hold back when it comes to sharing his journey.
Ben Owens says drugs nearly cost him his life. Today, he's more than 5 years sober.
And he's not just using his second chance for himself, he's using it to transform so-called dope houses into hope houses.
The goal of this project to help others on their own journey to sobriety. Reporter Joe Birch shares this story of redemption.
Our calling was to come back to Memphis for the people we left behind, and the reason for that, we spent 5 years being an absolute terror on these streets out here, pumping tons of money into the dope economy. They wanted nothing to do with the dope game at all.
Tatted and raw, Ben Owen walks like he's right at home on the dead end of Melrose, just off McLemore in South Memphis, where Owen and his wife Jess say they did a lot of dope.
We always had like this foxhole prayer that we would say, even when we were in the trap house living there. And it was, God, if you can get us out of this together, we promise we'll come back for those we left behind.
The couple has come a long way from their mugshot days. They bottomed out and got clean 5 years ago. The couple kept their prayerful promise and returned to Memphis from Georgia, buying the very crack houses where they did drugs and saw sex trafficking 24/7.
We have what used to be a brothel right down the street here. There were a total of 9 women trafficked out of that house, 4 people shot in that house that I know of in 2017.
Ben tells chilling tales on YouTube about the crime-riddled chaos that happened at 1186 Melrose.
I was in active addiction and smoking my life away, and came very close to killing myself out here 1,000 times over. I don't know what sort of divine intervention happened.
Call it a miracle if you like. Ben and Jess created a Memphis nonprofit called We Fight Monsters that transforms addresses like 1186 Melrose, the longtime crack house, into a show house.
What we decided to do was make the bathroom larger because it was very, very tiny, and we knew we were going to be putting women and kids in here.
Lucretia Sims now lives in the remodeled home with her spouse and grandchildren. Lucretia, Ben, and Jess say they got high here together regularly. Lucretia and her 2 siblings were among those Ben and Jess returned to rescue.
Ben and Jess persuaded me to get into treatment. So I got into treatment, and this is the outcome. I wouldn't trade it in for nothing.
I like the use of the word investments, right? These houses are investments in people's lives. We're not just rebuilding houses. We are rebuilding lives.
Their nonprofit now oversees 4 properties on Melrose and other former crack houses in South Memphis where more lives are being rebuilt. Then they purchased the Memphis Rebos network of halfway houses for people in early recovery. Rebos is sober, spelled backwards. The nonprofit oversees 42 beds where formerly addicted people get going forward in life, often with a nudge from drug court.
Well, the mission is to turn old dope houses into hope houses.
49-year-old Christopher Bobbitt has 20 months of sobriety, longest stretch of clean living, he says, since his teen years.
We pretty much patched all the bullet holes up and new electrical, new plumbing. So they're going to have a decent little home to live in.
It's the broken that's coming to fix the broken.
Josh Sneed says drug court sent him to rehab and then Ben and Jess's halfway house, where he's helped fix old crack houses and learned a new way of life.
Now that I'm learning how to live sober, now this is what you do to keep it in action and to keep moving forward.
You close down these houses, the dope houses, you remove that driver of instability from the community, and the entire thing just revitalizes. It comes back. It's a beautiful thing to watch. We pulled this off without firing a single shot, without sending a single person to jail. It's just meeting people where they're at and trying to get it done right here at a grassroots level.
I don't know of anybody doing this to where they've come back to the exact same place they used to do bad things in and make it better. But that was our promise to God, and we're doing it.
Since Ben and Jess started We Fight Monsters, they've helped more than 250 people with recovery and secured safe homes for 75 individuals and 4 families.
We found many more grassroots efforts just like this one, helping people in recovery land back on their feet. In Mobile, Alabama, you can find that kind of support at Door to Serenity, where the founder has personal experience with addiction.
I am a person in long-term recovery, and 3 years into my recovery, my mom had passed away.
The nonprofit operates 3 sober living homes, 2 for men and 1 for women. Studies show people who stay at sober living homes during their recovery are more likely to experience fewer issues with drugs and alcohol, higher employment rates, and more stable housing. Door to Serenity clients like Kobe Bell call the opportunity to recover in a sober home a blessing.
I think it's divine order, it's anointed, whatever you want to call it, because it just comes into place. God brings people here, all kinds of people.
There's more hope on the horizon. In May 2024, the CDC released its annual drug overdose deaths report. It found in 2023, drug overdose deaths in the U.S. dropped by 3% from the previous year, the first annual decrease since 2018.